Hello and welcome to Theme Park Information. In today's show we have got a review for Gotham City Escape, located at Parque Warner Madrid. Now this roller coaster is not long opened and was a huge bucket list coaster for last year, and I will say I absolutely thoroughly enjoyed it. It ticks so many boxes from a roller coaster standpoint. So let's go in with a pretty much completely positive list for the most part. I don't really think I have much to nitpick. Let's just start with like the sort of facade and indoor queue line. That stuff is extremely cool and interactive. Looks really good, and it's actually just that extra little bit of effort and like time taken and stuff like that. Fantastic, really good impression when you get in there. Really sets like the tone and pace of the ride and stuff like that as well. I will say, as a slight negative, the outside queue is a little bit boring, and also potentially could do things with more shade, fans, drinking, like little taps and stuff like that. Not that I was outside for too long while there, but just little tips that could be really useful for the future. Madrid, Spain, fairly hot country, would be nice to see in the future. Alright, let's actually get on to a bit more of the ride itself. The station building, really lovely. Really good use of like lockers as well. Sadly, no on-ride filming was allowed, which is always a bit irritating. Very close to getting my GoPro on it, in fairness. Almost. It just got noticed just before the train dispatched. Which, otherwise I would have some lovely on-ride POV as well. But, which is fair enough. Yeah, they were quite polite about it. And I was quite polite about it. In fairness, it doesn't say that you can't film on ride. Just so you know. But they will potentially be a bit skeptical of it. Let's start off with the first launch. Lovely little showcase scene to begin with. Really nice, especially at night, this bit's really cool. The first launch actually has quite a bit of a kick to it. So much more than you'd expect. And then it kicks off a really good layout. There is, several inversions. All of them are good. I wouldn't say any other than the extremely long stool towards the end are particularly memorable. They are all good. They're all good in their own right. I'd say the first one has quite a bit of hang time. There's quite a whippy sort of corkscrew one later in the ride. And then obviously there's the ultimate hang time one, which is the extremely long stool. That bit is phenomenal, by the way. Love that bit. Just full on hands out, just like whoa, so cool. But anyway, other than that, this ride has a few really good airtime moments. There is a really good ejector hill just before one of the inversions. There's also one just as you go into a tunnel before another. That one is actually really good. It catches you completely off guard. And then also there's the really imposing sort of like top hat section. You get airtime on the way up, and you do get kind of launched out your seat on the way down. I'd say this ride also has some really good launches, and then has a really interesting finale where effectively you go up a spike. Sadly, you do hit some brakes before that moment, and I actually think if the spike was slightly taller and bigger and you went through it at full speed, that would be so cool. Sadly not. You do just brake and go up a little bit, and it could be a bit better. It's cool, it's different, and I imagine if you didn't know it was coming, it would absolutely catch you completely off guard. You'd be like, what's going on here? And also all the theming around that little sort of end section bit is really cool as well. I will say I can see it being a potential sort of like maintenance headache with the sort of like the fact that you have like several sets of brakes, and then like a switch track to get it to go back into the station, and automatic doors opening and stuff like that. Could see that being a tiny bit problematic. I also will say this ride is really phenomenal at night. For whatever reason, that sort of area of the park is mostly actually quite dark, so you actually have no real idea what's going on. It's really good in both the front, back, and sort of middle of the train. There's not actually any sort of really sort of like shining characteristics between the two. It's quite a small, short train as well, so you don't really notice it. Really good lap bar design, really open, really free, but at the same time you do feel very secure and safe, which is also really important. And it does give you quite a lot of movement, especially obviously if you're upper body, and it is also quite easy to get a little bit of airtime as well. It doesn't crush you painfully or anything like that. I'd say the operations were really good for the most part. I'd say it did have a bit of a slow start, but I believe that is just because of some really awful weather in Madrid just the day before I went to the park. Really sorry, Spain did kind of bring the British weather over with me, unfortunately. But yeah, I'd say the ride itself ticks pretty much every box. I'd probably say it's the best, or maybe one of the best rides I went on all year. I'd say very little layout rise I can really fault with it. It has really good interactions, really photogenic. Like, it has, good variety of elements. I think maybe it would be really good if it had one extra really good airtime moment, because it has obviously a few, but I really will be honest, I kind of really do wish it had one more, which would really set the seal of approval on it. Maybe, like, I'd say it goes through the tunnel, goes into an airtime hill, and then up the spike, for example. That would be really cool. But yeah, I'd say, I think for a final score, it's going to get like 94 out of 100. Definitely gets like a seal of approval. Well worth going to the park solely for this ride. I say it just is so much fun. Anyway, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe for more content. I'll catch you guys on the next one.